Huh? Okay, read Bismillah. Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. وعن أبي الجوزاء narrate an authority of Abu al-Jawza قال قحط أهل المدينة قحطا شديدا, that the people of Medina were gripped by a very severe drought. فشكوا إلى عائشة, they complained to Aisha that you are the senior, you are the wife of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and here we have a problem, right? فقال انظروا قبر النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. She said, look at the qabr of Rasulullah صلى الله عليه وسلم. فاجعلوا منها قوا إلى السماء. Make from it, يعني the qabr, make an opening to the sky. حتى لا يكون بينه وبين السماء سقفا, to such an extent that will not be between it, يعني between the qabr and between the sky, saqfan, any roof. In other words, the qabr must be exposed, the graves must be exposed to the sky, right? فَفَعَلُوا, then they done that. فَمُطِرُوا مَطْرًا, then they were given, they were rained upon, right? مَطْرًا حَتَّى نَبَتَ الْعُشْبُ, until such an extent that the tree started growing. The grass started growing. وَسَمَنَتِ الْإِبِلُ, and the camels started getting fat, right? حَتَّى تَفَقَّتَتْ مِنَ الشَّحْمِ, until, right, the camels also started getting fat, right? Right, you're saying, right? So تَفَقَّتَتْ مِنَ السَّمْنِ, it started getting loaded with fat. وَسُمِّيَ, and this was called Amal Fatqi, the year of the Fatq. Why? Because remember there she said, make a hole there, right? So Quwan, remember Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam was buried in the house of Aisha Siddiqa radiallahu ta'ala anha. That the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam said that a Nabi is buried wherever he passed away, right? So because he passed away in the house of Aisha Siddiqa radiallahu ta'ala anha, he was buried there. So obviously the roof was still in place. So this should not be used as a proof for building mazars, mausoleums. Remember, according to the hadith, nothing solid should be built around the grave. The grave should be left natural, right? So the fact that Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam has got a solid structure around his grave is not a proof that you can build a solid structure. It says that Nabi Sallallahu was buried where he passed away. Are you with me? Right? So what Aisha Siddiqa is saying, make an opening in the roof of where Nabi Sallallahu is buried, so that the grave is exposed to the sky, so the sky can see the grave. Understood that? Where the sun can come in. And what was her reasoning? Her reasoning was this year. Remember, Allah Ta'ala speaks in the Quran about when people of stature pass away. Allah Ta'ala says, فَمَا بَكَتْ عَلَيْهِمُ السَّمَاءُ وَالْأَرْضُ, that the sky did not cry for them. Nobody missed them because they were valueless. But when people of value passes away, what happened? The sky cries for them. So her reasoning was this year, that if the sky sees the grave of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, it will start crying. And exactly like that, it happened. So she used, you can so to say, Rasulullah as a tawassul, as a means of attracting the mercy of Allah Ta'ala. Like I say, inni atawassalu bihabibik sallallahu alayhi wasallam. So this here was the miracle of who? Hazrat Aisha Siddiqa, that she came up with this genius plan. And also you can say it was a miracle of the Rawza of Nabi Sallallahu, because ultimately the rain became because of him. So you can say it's a joint miracle between Hazrat Aisha Siddiqa radiallahu ta'ala anha. So we attribute it to Hazrat Aisha Siddiqa radiallahu ta'ala anha. And it's also a joint miracle of the Rawza of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. The word here, this word here which you got here, tafat, tafattaqat, fattaqat, from fataqa, means to burst. So sometimes, a person, they are so fat, right? It seems like they're carrying so much weight, like the fat want to burst out of the skin. So he's saying, hatta tafattaqat min ash-shahmi. So there was so much barakah from this rain that came as a result of exposing the the grave of Rasulullah to the skies, that as though the camels wanted to burst, the skins wanted to burst, because sometimes you see, you see a guy with a very big stomach and he's wearing a shirt, and you see the buttons are popping out because his stomach wants to pop out like that, something like that, right? Because of grazing on lush green grass. And hence this was called Amul Fatqi, the year of the bursting. Okay, so the miracle is quite even there. Read the next hadith, inshallah.
وعن سعيد بن عبد العزيز قال لما كان أيام الحر لم يؤذن في مسجد النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم ثلاثا ولم يقم ولم يبرح سعيد بن المسيب المسجد كان لا يعرف وقت الصلاة إلا بأمه يسمعها من قبل النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم.
Okay, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. وعن سعيد بن عبد العزيز, narrating authority of Sa'id ibn al-Aziz, قال لما كان أيام الحرة, when it was the days of Harra, right? Harra was that time when Yazid ibn Muawiyah attacked Medina. Very difficult time in the history of Islam, that the people of Medina didn't want to give ba'at to Yazid, remember? And he sent his army, and they pillaged the Medina for 3 days. They raped the young girls. They killed senior Sahaba Ikram. For 3 days, there was no Jama'at Namaz in Masjid al-Nabawi sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Very, very sad day in the history of Islam, right? There is Harra. I think you people done it in Kitab al-Fitr, you've done it. But not yet. We'll do it still, inshallah. Right? So, لما كان أيام الحر لم يؤذن في مسجد النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. The azan was not called out even for 3 days, right? Salathan for 3 days. ولم يقيم, you got يقيم ولم يقم. Huh? ولم يقم. Right, that makes more sense, yeah. يقم. And neither was the iqamat also called out, because people were too afraid to come out of their houses. If they come out of the house, they would be attacked. They would be, etc. ولم يقم. ولم يبرح سعيد بن المسيب المسجد. And Sa'id al-Musayyab, Sahabi, he remained, he hid, he stowed away, so to say, in Masjid al-Nabawi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. وَكَانَ لَا يَعْرِفُ وَقْتَ الصَّلَاةِ إِلَّا بِهَمْهَمَةٍ. He would not know the time of Salah because he was hiding the masjid, except because of a sound, يَسْمَعُهَا مِنْ قَبْرِ النَّبِيِّ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وسلم, that he would hear it from the qabr of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. I told you, Harra was, Yazid was, remember we discussed this also in Aqidah to Tahawiyah, etc. Harra was what? Was, it happened in the time of Yazid, and he was the successor to Hazrat Muawiyah. After the Hassan came, Yazid, Muawiyah was full in power. Remember we done this, he ceded power to Hazrat Muawiyah, and Muawiyah appointed his son Yazid, also with the mashura of some senior Sahaba Ikram, etc. So when the people of Medina didn't want to give back to Yazid, he sent the army to bring them to book. In your mind, you think that we respect Medina so much and all that stuff. Remember, these were people from Sham. They were not in the company of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They were new Muslims. They didn't know who was. They didn't recognize the worth of the Sahaba Ikram, etc. Right? So Medina was physically engulfed in darkness, maybe because of the looting, smoke, etc., etc. You couldn't differentiate between the times. And as I told you, maybe everybody was hiding away. So here, the miracle is that for the 5 daily salah, a sound would come out of the grave of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, hamatan, like a buzzing sound, right? So this is the miracle of who? That was the miracle of Yazid, sorry, of the miracle of the Sahabi Sa'id ibn Abdul Aziz, that he learned the times of Salah through a buzzing sound that would come from the grave of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So you can say it is the miracle of this particular Sahabi, or you could say it's the miracle of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. If we say it's a miracle of the Sahabi, then it's like karamat, right? And if we say it's a miracle of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, then we say it's a mu'jiza, right? Okay, read the next one. Brother, please, it is written there. I'm not sure. They don't say anything here. Could be. No, I don't think so. Because I think Umar bin Abdulaziz came still a while after that. He was the first Khalifa. He was from the Umayyads. Maybe it was, we can check it up, but I don't think so. But they don't say anything here. Anything in your kitab there, no? No, they don't. Subhanallah. We know Hazrat Anas radiallahu ta'ala, who we done the hadith. He was the khadim of Rasulullah sallallahu, and he served Rasulullah for 10 years. And Nabi sallallahu made dua for him for barakah. And as a result of this dua, he was blessed in terms of the dunya. He had so many children, so many grandchildren, and he had such a long life. He buried so many of his own children. So an Abi Khaldata, narrating the authority of Abi Khalda, قال, he says, قلت لأبي العالية. I said to Abi al-Aliyah, سمع أنس من Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that سمع أنس من Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that as Anas heard from Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that قال, he said, خدمه 10 سنين. He served the Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam for 10 years. وَدَعَى لَهُ النَّبِيُّ صلى الله عليه وسلم, and Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam made a special dua for him, right? So what you learn from this here, if you engage in the service of your parents, you engage in the service of your teachers, you engage in the service of your spouse, they will make dua, they will make dua from the heart for you. I told you in Urdu, there's a nice word they say. One is dua mangna and dua lena. Dua mangda, you go to a person, you say, make dua for me. Right? So you make dua because you asked. But when you show respect, you show reverence to him, then he will make dua from his heart for you. He'll make dua from his heart for you. So like how you serve your parents, right? Mommy, can I make you a cup of tea? Can I do the washing today? Can I go drop you by the work? Whatever. You serve them. So then the dua pours out from their heart, right? So because the Sahabi, he served Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and Nabi sallam, the dua poured from his heart. وَدَعَى لَهُ النَّبِي sallam, وَكَانَ لَهُ بُسْتَانٌ. He had a garden. يَحْمِلُ فِي كُلِّ سَنَةٍ الْفَاكِهَةَ مَرَّتَيْنِ. Subhanallah. This garden, now generally a garden only bears fruit once a year. But as a result of the dua of the barakah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, this garden would give 2 crops a year. Subhanallah. وكان يحمل في كل الفاف مرتين وكان فيها ريحان, and it would have certain flowers يجيء منه ريح المسك, that from these flowers, right, the smell of musk would come. رواه الترمذي, Imam Tirmidhi narrated, وقال هذا حديث حسن غريب, and they say this is a Hasan Gharib hadith. So if we say it is a result of the dua of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, then we say it's a mu'jiza, ne? But if we say this is the miracle of Hazrat Anas radiallahu Khuwaydama Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, then it is a karamat. Read the next hadith, inshallah. So note, turn the page, please.
عن عروة بن الزبير قال سمعت عروة بنت الحوش إلى مروان بن الحكم
Okay, so coincidentally, this riwayat here, we just done it in Aqidat al-Tahawiyah. That Sahabi, what's his name? Sa'd ibn, what was his name? Sa'id ibn Zayd, sorry, right? He was mustajab al-da'wat. His du'as would be readily accepted, right? And Urwa ibn Zubayri, the right authority of Urwa ibn Zubayr, Anna Sa'id ibn Zayd, that one Sa'id ibn Zayd ibn Amr ibn Nufayl, خاصمته Arwa bint Ausin ila Marwan ibn al-Hakam. That Arwa bint Aus, she raised up a case against him, and she raised it to Marwan ibn al-Hakam. And what was her claim? وَدَّعَتْ أَنَّهُ أَخَذَ شَيْئًا مِنْ أَرْضِهَا. She claimed that he أَخَذَ شَيْئًا مِنْ أَرْضِهَا, snatched, grabbed a portion of her land. Right? Carry on. So does you translate like this? Like this, he's saying, how can I take your land after I heard the severe warning from Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam? In other words, Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam sounded out such a severe warning for taking control of somebody else's land. How can I take your land after I heard such a see? فقال سعيد أنا كنت آخذ من أرضها أنا. So the question mark they said to the hidden. Can I take أنا كنت آخذ من أرضها? Can I take from her land anything? بعد الذي, after what سمعت من رسول الله, what I heard from Rasulullah, was it even possible that after hearing such a severe warning about stealing somebody's land that I can take land? Right, carry on. So the listener says,
قال ماذا سمعت من رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم؟ قال سمعت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول من أخذ شبرا من الأرض علما صرفه إلى صديق الأرض. قال له مروان لا أسألك بينة بعد هذا.
So he said, what did you hear? He said, ماذا سمعت من رسول الله? What did you call? سمعت رسول يقول, I heard Rasul, من أخذ شبرا من الأرض ظلما. Whoever takes, snatches away a handspan of land, ظلما, oppressively from another person. In other words, you don't take it with his happiness, you don't take it with his permission, you don't buy it from him, you just steal it from him, right? You under false pretexts, under false proofs, whatever, right? ظلما. طوقه الله إلى سبع أرضين. Allah Ta'ala will necklace him, right? إلى سبع أرضين, to 7 earths. In other words, that ground which he stole, not only that, but 7 earths below that, it will be necklaced around his head as a punishment. So it will be hanged on his head, right? طوقه الله إلى سبع أرضين, إلى سبع أرضين, right? Right. So Marwan said, so Marwan was saying, قال لا أسألك بين. I won't ask you any proof after this here, right? After you mentioned, right?
قال سعيد أو ما كانت كاذبة فأعمي بصرها.
Right. So as Said said, look here, normally al-bayyinatu al-mudda'i wal-yaminu ala man ankarnah. The person who's making the claim, they must what? They must produce a proof. And if you can't bring the proof, then the person who you claim me against must take the qasam. But many times amongst the Arabs, right, they wouldn't take a qasam because they consider the insult. Like if I tell you, you came here now late, for example, simple example. So you say the detective, say qasam, the detective was late, that you weren't fooling around. So now it's an insult to that I'm basically questioning your integrity. You understand what I'm saying? So when somebody asks you to take a qasam, it means they are questioning your integrity. So you'll see it comes when you do the fiqh, especially when you come to Kitabul Buyu in Hidayah, etc. There's a question there when somebody refuses to take a qasam, is it an admission of guilt or not? So generally, when a person refuses to take qasam, it is an admission of guilt. But they say there, certain places, if a person refuses to take a qasam, it is not an admission of guilt. Because as I told you, many a times the Arabs, they would refuse to take a qasam because they consider it, you can say, what's the right word, an aspersion on the integrity that they have to take a qasam to clarify their name, right? So he says, so same thing, so similar thing happened. He said, Allahumma, he said, Allah, in kanat kadhibatan, if this lady is making false allegations, right? She's claiming land from me, right? Fa'ami basaraha. Then Allah blind her sight, which means basically snatch her sight. وَاقْتُلْهَا فِي أَرْضِهَا and kill her in her land. قالت فقامت حتى ذهب. So فقال فما ماتت. She did not pass away. حتى ذهب بصرها until her sight went away. وبينما هي تمشي في أرضها. And once while she was walking in her land, she had no sight. إذ وقعت في حفرة. She fell into a hole, a well. فماتت and she passed away in there. متفق عليه is a متفق عليه رواية. You'll do it in Bukhari and Muslim later on. وفي رواية لمسلم and another riwayat of Muslim Shareef عن محمد بن زيد بن عبد الله بن عمر narrating the authority of Muhammad ibn Zayd ibn Abdullah ibn Amr بمعنى similar riwayat وأنه رآها, he says he saw her أمياء, blind, tamisul judura, seeking the wall, like how you know when you're blind, you're looking like holding the wall. Tamisul judura, taqulu, and she used to say this, asabatni da'watu sa'idin, that the dua, the bad dua of Sa'id that afflicted me, wa innaha marrat ala bi'rin, and she passed by a well, fi dari allati khasamathu, in the same land, the one which she disputed, she litigated, Sa'id, right? Right? Yeah. فوقعت فيها, and she fell in there, and فكانت قبرها, that was her grave. She just passed away there. I told you we discussed this, alhamdulillah, just coincidentally. We discussed this in Aqidat al-Tahawiyah. Al-Sa'id ibn Zayd was a high-ranking Sahabi. He was from amongst the Ashara Mubashara. And this woman made a spurious claim on her, a claim against him. So this year, this part here, it says, La as'aluka, where they said, yeah, فقال مروان لا أسألك بينة بعدها. I won't ask you for a proof because you already like gave such a profound answer. You gave such a profound answer. But you know the law is al-bayinatu al-mudda'i wal-yaminu ala man ankar, right? Al-bayinatu al-mudda'i. So if you don't want to take the qasam, then we'll have to give the land to her. You understand what I'm saying? Either you give witness or you give a qasam. So he said, I won't give the qasam. Let her take it. But I, like how you say, وَأُفَوِّضُ أَمْرِي إِلَى اللَّهِ, I entrust my matter to Allah Ta'ala. Okay, so the miracle here was that exactly the dua that Hazrat Sa'id ibn Zayd made, it manifested itself, right? Okay, read another one, right, at least.
أن عمر بعث جيشا وأمر عليه رجلا يدعى سارية فبينما عمر يخطب فجعله يسير يا أمير المؤمنين لنا أيدينا فهجمونا فإذا في طائف يتيه يا ساري الجبل فأسندنا ظهورنا إلى الجبل فهزمه الله تعالى
Okay, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. What Ibn Umar, narrating the authority of Ibn Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu, he said that Umar ba'atha jayshan, when he was the Khalifa, once has Umar sent a army. وَأَمَّرَ عَلَيْهِمْ رَجُلًا, and he made an Amir, a person, his name was Yud'a Sariyata, his name was Sariya. فَبَيْنَمَا عُمَرْ يَخْطُبُ, once while that is Umar radiallahu ta'ala in Medina, in Masjid al-Nabawi sallam, يَخْطُبُ, he was addressing the qawm. all of a sudden فَجَعَلَ يَسِيحُ يَا سَارِيَ الْجَبَلِ, أو Sariya al-Jabal, take refuge by the mountain. فَقَدِمَ رَسُولٌ مِنَ الْجَيْشِ, then after a while, a messenger from the army came. From the army that was in a distant land fighting the Romans. فقال يا أمير المؤمنين أو أمير المؤمنين لقينا عدوا. Right, we met the enemy. Right, فهزمونا, they were going to attack us. فإذا بصائح, then all of a sudden there was somebody who called out, يصيح يا سارية, oh Sariya, watch the mountain, right, take refuge by the mountain. فأسندنا ظهورنا, that was, your back is exposed, your back is exposed, show your back to the mountain, use the back as a protection so nobody can attack you. فأسندنا ظهورنا إلى الجبل, so we took refuge, right, of our backs to the mountain. فهزمهم الله تعالى, then Allah Ta'ala destroyed them. رواه البيهقي في دلائل النبوة. Imam Bayhaqi narrates this hadith in Dalail al-Nubuwah. So, Ya Sariya, I told you this person's name was Sariyata. But you make tarkhim of the munada. So just Ya Sari, Ya Sariya. So, Ya Sariya al-Jabal, face to show your, take protection, protect your rear with the mountain. Put the back at the mountain at your back. I told you this was in the battle of Qadisiyah or Nahawand. They wanted to attack the Muslims from the back. Whilst as Umar radiallahu ta'ala was on the member of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam, when Allah Ta'ala made Mukashafa, Allah Ta'ala showed him that his army is in danger. So the people of Medina or the Sahaba Ikram, they were surprised. At one moment here, the Rasul, Nabi Umar is addressing us, he's advising us, and the next moment he's screaming to the army. They thought they found us out of place. But when the messenger came, then they explained, look, we heard the voice. We heard this. So from this one incident, you can see several miracles of Umar radiallahu ta'ala. Once Allah Ta'ala revealed to him what was happening in Nahawand, thousands of miles away. Then his voice that traveled all the way. Then he saw the sketch of the battlefield through which Allah Ta'ala gave the Muslims victory. So we learn from this, like how as Muslims we have Hajj, we have Salat, etc. We also have Jihad. Okay, time is up. We'll switch now to the Hidayah Shareef, inshallah. Okay, I don't want to keep him too long. Rashid is waiting for him. Okay, carry on. Leave one here.